Amazon are pushing this hard, right? Amazon have just come out with that beta with Canva, where they're allowing you to create the video in Canva, upload it into Amazon directly, and then get it approved in the Canva interface or get it kicked back. So we've been working with Amazon as part of the beta on this.
One, two, three.
Welcome to the Smartest Amazon Seller Podcast. It's your host, Scott Needham. I am a longtime Amazon seller, and I really search far and wide for interesting new things that people can do to improve their business, to improve their skills as being a successful Amazon seller, Amazon entrepreneur, professional. Say what words you want. And I would say a few times a year, I see something and it's just like lights go off. I'm like, okay, congratulations. We have something new. And today is that day. I have, and this is a very different direction. I'm usually finding people that they're deep into data or this or this. This is very much oriented for those that want to design better product pages. So if that's what you find yourself doing, if someone in your team is a designer, like this is a one-of-a-kind podcast. So I want to welcome, I've got George from AMZ Design Kit, just launched, and I'll, you know what, we're going to ask the final questions as we go in. So George, welcome.
Thank you, Scott, and thank you for the introduction. Hopefully we can offer the audience some value today.
We're gonna hit a home run off of that intro, which so let's jump in. I'm just gonna give a brief overview of what I understand AMZ Design Kit, but then I want to jump into what led you to thinking of this. So AMZ Design Kit is helps you just collect inspiring photos, designs, A+ content, infographics that like some of the more successful, some of the better designs out there. And you just kind of collect it and you just have it there as a reference at all time.
In short, that's exactly how it started. A lot of people saying, do you have an example of that? And then, okay, well, I'll go find some examples for people. People, I guess, trusted my eye for whatever reason. And I would build a folder. And then the folder became, okay, I'll put that folder on SharePoint. People get access to the folder. And it kind of just kept expanding from that. And for a few years now, I think 3 years, I've been playing with this now. It's been a kind of a side project, which I've just enjoyed doing. So it's not just, here are 30,000 design examples organized by product and category.
Let's back up one step. What was the first time? Are you just like a designer straight through and through?
No. The design side is just more of just what I find interesting. We run an advertising business for Amazon, but the design stuff, I find that more interesting.
Okay. So obviously if you're spending money on stuff, like design actually makes a difference, there's a lot of creative involved in ads, even if it's just the primary image of the product. So, that's, I'm guessing, maybe how you came across I
guess it's not splitting up. When you think about Amazon advertising, it's not separating the conversion rate and the traffic. It's putting them all under the bracket of the term Amazon ads. You think if you've done social advertising for years, you would go, well, obviously the landing page makes a difference if you're a social advertiser because we're driving traffic to that page. We want it to convert as high as possible and as high average order value as possible. So I really think we shouldn't view Amazon advertising as a term that doesn't include creative anymore and doesn't include conversion rate anymore. I think they should be bracketed together. But that is certainly one of the problems. We were managing ads for people and people were going, what do you mean it can be higher converting? What's an example of that? And then you go, okay, let me, you're in the pet category. Let me go get you some examples and send you over a couple of pictures. Oh, now I know what you mean. Okay, yeah, just go make that. Don't recreate the wheel. Just go copy that thing they've done. It's a good idea. Don't need to recreate the whole thing here. Just do what they've done for your brand.
I mean, I that's kind of like um, anyone in any creative industry. At some point they realize like, oh, some people have actually done a really good job of this, and I can steal a few ideas. I as a teenager, I edited videos,
Hmm.
and then I started doing trip videos in my 20s and 30s. And often I'd have like an awesome YouTube video that I saw that created a cool effect. And I'm like,
Mm.
oh, I'm just going to steal that idea, apply it to my experience. And, I'm making small changes, and like, I'm not like super professional, but like, man, I still have that stuff, and it works. So like, as a creative, like, don't reinvent the wheel. If you find some like awesome ideas, it's not hard to apply it.
And it's not just that. There's a few different facets. One is speed. Okay, so we want that thing online faster because it means we can convert better, or it means you can get more clicks on your nice videos that you've made for your travels, for instance. So there's a speed element to it, but there's also, if you're seeing a top selling page and it's a well designed top selling page, they've already done the testing. They've already gone through their main images to make themselves their number one product. So what you're going to ignore all of that and think you can just go do a better job and spend hours and loads of design time and cost to do it, which isn't necessarily always needed. If you think about Shopify sites, there might only really be 10 different wireframes to a site, an image on the left, text on the right. And we've seen websites like that for years that have done millions or billions, maybe in some example. Why do we need to go and create something completely new? Like that's not what's going to make the big difference here. Your tone of voice, your overall product offering, that's going to make the difference. But we need something done yesterday. We don't want to have a massive bill at the end of the month for the designers.
And even as a non-designer myself, I've worked with like 5 or 6 designers, and nothing's better than like being able like, I want something like this.
Yeah.
Um, I'm like the e-commerce professional in the room. I'm not a designer. I know like what sells really well and why, but
Hmm.
I don't spend my time in Photoshop. I
Nope.
I have a few employees that do that stuff, and nothing's better than giving them a reference. I give them a reference, and like we're all on the same page. We all know what success looks like. So that's interesting. So I actually, what you just said about that you gravitated toward a design, I think that's super apparent in what you've created. That no one would have created AMZ Design Kit that didn't spend a lot of time thinking about um, images that perform on Amazon.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's what it was. It was, we're already sending or paying traffic to go to your page. And at that time, we didn't have a design offering in our company. So I was just, okay, give this to a freelancer and get them to apply it to your product range. Okay, cool. We've done that for infographics. What about storefront? You keep talking about driving traffic to storefronts from ads. Yeah, fair point. Here are 3 good storefront landing pages that you should just go copy. You see this like layout here, just copy that layout. Yep, done. And you can get a freelancer, very low cost, to go and do that in any part of the world and spit out a pretty solid design.
I've um, I've hired a few different people to refresh an ASIN,
Mm.
and what I usually get in return, I don't actually know. I get an infographic with like a few bullet points that they thought were interesting, and usually I think maybe it's a small improvement, but now as like we're talking, and I'm thinking like, oh, I left some opportunity on the table by not like seeing the best of the best, and not sharing with him the best of the best. Be like, okay, do this.
Yeah, and a designer is perhaps good at designing, but the very best designers are good at designing. They're aware of copywriting. They know how to
Yeah,
sell. They've
yeah,
got all of that, but they're going to cost a fortune. So you can get them to go out there and come up with all those ideas, but they're $150 an hour
yeah.
plus, and then the project price is through the roof, right? And then an agency is going to add their margin on top of that. So you're going to get your eyeballs pulled out. If you can just go to someone who's $5 to $10 an hour, here is something that's working. Like this ASIN is really good. Say
Oh yeah, no,
Mighty Patch. Yeah, Mighty Patch by Hero Cosmetics. Their A plus is image on the right, text on the left, and then reversed, and then reversed. There is nothing complex about that. And it can take you under an hour to create it. And it's uploaded, it's done. And you're testing it. And then the data just says, that's rubbish or that's much better.
Wow, like I totally agree. Like there's skilled designers at the top level, and then there's affordable designers that I actually love to have, like the affordable designers as like my day in, day out. We're like, we're like pumping through stuff. And if I don't give them good directions, I don't get great results.
And you don't get great results, and it can take time because then you have draft 2, 3, 4. Whereas what I advocate for now is building out a design system. So let's say you've made an infographic once. Within that infographic, you're going to have certain components, how you display icons, how you display your text within it to ensure that it's mobile friendly. So ideally, I view that as a design decision. You've made the decision that the second infographic, the first one people see, it needs to be over a certain pixels in size, the text. So therefore, it's visible on mobile. You make that design decision once, and your in-house designer then kind of just bookmarks that. Every time we make an infographic, we just go back and grab that component we've made, which we copied from someone else, by the way, and we just reuse it over and over again. So that would be the key difference of going from, let's say, a freelancer where you wouldn't perhaps get that nice organization, good for one project. As you build up and you've got more projects, then you want someone who's got those organization skills to go, actually, I'm going to build a bit of a design system here so we're even faster again in the future. And if we see something new, that's fine. The new thing can come into our system and we can make a few new components and make a few more design decisions once instead of repeatedly making that design decision every single time we design, which is a slow process that doesn't really need to happen each time.
Yeah. So tell me about, someone jumping in at AMZ Design Kit for the first time. Like, what are they going to experience? What's like, how is it organized?
Good question. There's a few different assets to it. We've spoken about examples today. And what you can do is you can jump in, there's 30,000 examples, and you can use filters to go, I want to see A+ premium for pets, and filter like that. Alternatively, we've now started scraping the data on the image. So we've got all of the information from the ASIN or the page or the search results of like the keywords. So if I search coffee, I'm going to see every single image where coffee has been a keyword as part of that. So let's say you're looking for a coffee product, or supplements is probably better, where you go, I want it to be BPA free or whatever. You can search that keyword and get all different ideas from that specific niche of, oh, BPA free, here's how they've shown that as an infographic. That's smart. Let me bookmark that into project 1, which I'm working on at the moment. So that's the first asset. But then you may go, okay, actually, I want to go find some more examples from Amazon itself. And that's where the Chrome extension comes in. As you go through Amazon extensions running, and every single asset on the Amazon page, main image, infographics, A+, brand story, storefronts, videos, you can then save. And when you save it in one click, it drops straight into the Amazon Design Kit. So it's constantly updating with new ideas as we go and save them. So, last month we had 400 new designs were dropped in there because people have been using the Chrome extension. So it's constantly evolving. It's all very searchable, so we can get to that inspiration faster. That's part 1, which is inspiration. Part 2 is, an objective here, I should say, is how do we help brands create great designs in less time for less money at scale? And everything comes back to that mission statement. So we've got the inspiration, we know that. Then the next piece are the templates. So what we've now done is we've gone and built 160 plus different templates. So we found the great designs, and then we've just designed them for you. And then if you're in Figma, you can just copy it, paste it into your own Figma, and you've got that design. You just update the colors and the text. So we're reducing that time piece. And that's the next piece to this. We're giving you more so you can actually get started faster. you don't have to make those design decisions. I spoke about, what's the optimum size for mobile and infographic. We've made those decisions for you. So you go, well, if it's in the kit, we can trust it. And therefore, we know it's going to work.
Yeah.
So we don't need to actually go make that decision. Someone's already made it.
I love it. I think that's very interesting. I'm wondering, I've got lots of little springboards, but I've never heard. I don't think like what you said at the beginning of this podcast about like connecting advertising with the creative. I'm not sure if I've ever heard of anyone like trying to say like, no, we got to merge this. This has to be the same thing. Never heard it emphasized as well as you did. What types of results have you seen, from some like design refreshes? Like, have you seen overnight like advertising shifts?
Yes, in short. If the conversion rate goes up, you just run the simple formula, If the conversion rate doubles, then naturally your ads perform better. So, we work with some top 40 sellers, and we've seen notable improvements if you change a set of main images, and the impact could be a few $100,000 that year. And then we're also managing the ads, so we can actually see that impact happening straight away. So it seems foolish to me for someone who's being paid as an agency to drive traffic to your page to not care about converting that traffic. Because I've spoken to a lot of agencies, we will have the same issue of, like that client eventually left after a while, like they weren't fixing their conversion rate. They weren't really accepting the fact the conversion rate wasn't very good, but they kept saying the ads just weren't working. And you're going, well, we can get you the traffic and we can get you relevant traffic, but if you're not doing your job to convince that buyer to buy because you've solved their problems.
It's actually, it's an awkward spot where like the advertiser knows that like, hey, all this creative, all the product, the reviews, it all does matter. I can't like have advertising on an island. Whereas some brands, they want you, oh, you're the Amazon, advertiser, like the creative should be on your, and it's, I'm not saying this is like with all brands, but in terms of like creative of the Amazon detail pages, it can live in the middle between them. No one wants to pay for it. No one wants to like be the sole party responsible. So yeah.
And that's where we're going. Maybe you simply just don't have budget to pay a design agency, or to increase your fees with your current advertising agency for them to do your creative as well. And that's why I think the design kit offers some value, because you're going, that's fine. If you've got small budget, go get a freelancer, give them this kit, tell them what you want to build, and they can just go get it done. And, we're introducing video ads now as well. So we're building out those video ad templates and components of templates. So kind of multiple 2 to 5 second little stitch things you can stitch together from good videos we found online on Amazon. And gone, right, here's a 3-second clip. Add that to this 10-second one, and add that to this 10-second one. You got yourself a 23-second video ad there, and you can iterate it across all your products. And we're going to give you the training on how to do that and the template. So we know we need video ads. You're not giving us any, which is a big problem we face. If we want to run video ads for you, and it's been 4 months, you've still given us nothing. Now we can actually go, I understand you don't have budget. Here are some templates for video ads. Go get that done. Here's a template for A+. Go get that done. And
so wait, I Design Kit does like videos as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
I may have spaced it for just a second. I was like, wait, we're talking about videos. I thought that, okay, more valuable. Another creative that like, just, you actually want to see good examples.
Amazon are pushing this hard, right? Amazon have just come out with that beta with Canva, where they're allowing you to create the video in Canva, upload it into Amazon directly, and then get it approved in the Canva interface or get it kicked back. So we've been working with Amazon as part of the beta on this. And we'll be doing a webinar soon, and we'll be going, right, here's how you can take some good video templates that we've made you and perhaps have been tested already, so we know they're actually working for good click-through rate, for instance.
Mhm.
And we've also then gone, a lot of the opening slides of videos at the moment that I see, I don't know about you, Scott, aren't that good. They're not a very good opening slide. They don't solve the problem in the first 1 second. So we're now going, right, how can we just make you some? Rather
Yeah.
than you going to try and do it, I'll just make you some opening 2-second slides, which you can then stitch into your other videos. And that's what we're doing now. And then we're obviously teaching people as a course, as element to this as well, where we've got a Canva certified expert who's going in and going, right, here's how you can take this video, stitch it with this, stitch it with that, create variations. And then your advertising manager is going to be delighted because he's finally got something to go and work with, which is a massive blocker that I'm sure many other agencies are struggling with.
Yeah, I love it. Super interesting. I'm actually going to throw out a different, a solid for you. Like, I think, I jumped into AMZ Design Kit, and, I'm in a group or two that has like talked about it and shared about it. So like, well done on like launching something interesting, unique. And actually, as you spoke, I'm like, oh, the value here is a little bit higher in not even just a designer, but someone that oversees designers. So they can give great directions. And this is super affordable. I think right now your pricing is $10 a month.
Yeah.
Roughly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow. So that's it for the right audience. It's a no-brainer.
You can build in. I've seen some people come back to me because we get a lot of qualitative feedback, people emailing me, and it's nice to hear of, I've signed up in this month, I've made 4 A+ pages. So think of what quotes you've got to make 4 pages of A+ from an agency, and then compare that to the $10 monthly fee. Yeah. Sure, there's going to be some, I've got to hire a freelancer to go do it because I don't want to do it myself, but it's purposely affordable because my objective is, I like the idea of that Shopify slogan of like, arm the rebels. And I'm aware that I'm shooting myself in the foot running a part design agency here, and we offer it as a service. But at the same time, I'm very much shooting myself in the foot selling it for $10 a month.
We could spend some time. I think you're doing all right because you actually are bringing such awareness to your greater business. And speaking as someone that I also market to Amazon sellers, I'm a seller, but I also market to them. We have some free tools that I know people would pay for. But it's kind of like you give a bunch of value, and, the people that really lean in or that need help, they'll raise their hands. So I think your strategy is great, and you can always shift it. But like, I just think great job. Like the moment I saw this, I was like, done. Like I would love to get George on the podcast. You've posted a lot about Amazon on LinkedIn before this, like, a worthy follow. So anyone like George Reid, check it out. Thanks so much for coming on the pod to chat.
Thank you.
I think, we can talk about this infinitely, but like people, you should just jump in and use it and see the video in action. And, yeah.
Thank you so much, Scott. It's been a pleasure speaking.
Yeah, of course. Well, so if anyone has any questions, like, you could reach out to me, reach out to George. We want to showcase what's new, what's interesting. This is 2024. We need more innovation, and it's happening right here on the podcast right now. Well, thanks everyone for listening. That's the pod. We'll catch you on the next episode. Take care.
1, 2, 3.